So recently there's been this bot playing Tekken 8 online that's got a notorious reputation. Someone called Jin Mashima has been streaming automated matches, picking the DLC character Eddy, and has set his control to spam the 3 button over and over. 3 being X for PlayStation and A for Xbox. And the most interesting part is that the bot is winning more often than expected. As of this date, his rank is Warrior, putting him around here on the ranks, which really isn't that good, considering that some days he had the bot running 24/7. And at this point has had thousands of matches, combined with the fact that people are getting wise to Eddy's moveset. Currently I'm Cavalry rank, 1 rank below Warrior, and I've played less than 50 matches. I'm also terrible at the game, so make of that what you will. The bot reached Eliminator rank at a certain point, and that was enough for people to claim that the game is brain dead. But what it has created is a knowledge check that has beat down several players who play a little bit too aggressive. So what exactly is the bot doing, and why is it so effective? Let's talk about Eddy, and where this particular strategy comes from. Eddy debuted in Tekken 3, one of the most popular PS1 fighting games, or even just popular PS1 games. He gained a reputation amongst casual players as a cheap, low-skill character who just does a bunch of bullshit that can't be beat. In Tekken, every button corresponds to a certain limb. 1 is the left hand, 2 is the right hand, 3 is left leg, and 4 is right leg. Certain characters specialize with certain limbs. For example, Paul's right hand is capable of doing this. Hwoarang practices taekwondo, so naturally his kicks are really good. And Steve is a boxer who fights mainly with his hands. Eddy is a master of capoeira, a martial art that resembles breakdance fighting, and because of this, his legs are probably his most important asset. Not to say that he can't punch, but it's certainly not what he's known for. So if you pick Eddy and start spamming the kick buttons, here's what happens. As a casual, this is a pretty sound game plan for a cheap win against an opponent who presumably has no idea how Tekken works. Tekken overall is a more defensive style fighting game. It's not as quick as an anime fighter, it's slower, more methodical, and more defensive than its peers. Because of this, defending is a little different in Tekken. Standing still or holding back will automatically block a high or mid attack, but leaves you vulnerable to a low attack. Conversely, ducking will evade high attacks and block low attacks, but will leave you vulnerable to mids. Now, here's where Eddy comes in. Most casual players won't know about low block, and when Eddy starts doing handstands and throwing out low kicks, he can cut through a casual's legs like a hot knife through butter. Hence all the claims that he's a bullshit character. As Tekken went on, a combination of people getting wise to his tricks, his moveset being tweaked, and general game knowledge being more readily available. Eddy lost his reputation, but after releasing as a DLC character in Tekken 8, getting a new image, rework, and the new hit system to play with, we're right back to 1998, and fucking hating Eddy again. So what's the deal with Eddy in Tekken 8? And why do some players have such a hard time dealing with his 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3? In order to figure it out, I gave Bandai Namco my money, and purchased a character that I'll probably never play again. So how does it work? And how do I pronounce any of these words? Let's start with Cincello, which obviously is performed with 3, 3. This string or combo is kind of basic. Mid into mid, +8 on hit, and then it ends in a stance called Bananaria? Bananaria? Look, it's a fucking handstand, okay? Out of handstand, if you keep pressing 3, 3, and then 3, you do an exerada, which is a mid, high, high, +13 on hit, and ends with another stance called Negativa. Now that we're in this stance, 3-3 will perform La Manja, a low high, which is probably the root cause of the problem. Because if you eat the low, you're eating the rest of it. And then you end up on the floor. To top it off, completing this combo lets Eddy perform Mandinga, a buff which apparently gives Eddy access to more moves. But it's not really going to matter because 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. To top it off, Tekken has this ground recovery system that can be used by pressing 3, oddly enough. As soon as you hit the ground, you will roll to the right and he will be crouched. And when you rise from crouch and hit an attack button, you perform a while standing attack. Eddy gets a goddamn launcher for his while standing 3. So if you eat that, we start from the beginning, and the next 5 hits are pretty much guaranteed. Or even 6 hits if you're at the wall. I opened up training mode and set the opponent to mash 3, 3, 3, etc. It's not quite the same. I'm pretty sure the bot mashes it way faster, but it's pretty close. So how exactly do we beat this? Off the top of my head, you could duck the 4th and 5th attack and perform your own while rising attack, which can be a launcher for some characters. You could also wait for the low attack, which comes out at 6 button presses of 3. Not confusing at all. If you know when it's coming, you can low parry, something that all Tekken characters can do, which opens him up to a free combo. Or even just blocking the low stuns Eddy, so you get a free launcher. So getting a precise parry is really not necessary. If you block the first 2 kicks, you get +3 frames, which should be enough time to throw out something, as long as it's a mid, because he goes low profile, meaning that a high attack won't hit him. Eddy is very evasive as it turns out. If you block the first 5 kicks, you get +5 frames, but he will still evade a high, so stick with mids. +5 is more than enough time to hit a launcher for big damage. The issue is that it all happens quite fast, and there's a good chance you'll get lost trying to figure out where exactly Eddy is. And that's when you eat a low, crash into the wall, and then you realize that some of these attacks can hit a grounded opponent. Fuck me. Because Eddy bot never blocks, you can abuse him on recovery. When blocked, his while rising launcher gives you +13, which really is enough time to make a fucking coffee. Or better yet, you could just throw out a launcher. You do have the option of using armored moves, but the problem is that Eddy will outdamage you in some scenarios. And low hits also go through armored moves. Maybe even this. Some moves force the opponent into crouch, and if he's just matching 3 the whole time, I'm pretty sure this would work. Maybe. To make matters worse, a lot of Eddy's moves have evasive properties, leading to a counter hit, and once again you're stuck in the tornado of 3, 3, 3, 3. It's the perfect storm of circumstances, or more likely Eddy is designed for newer players. And considering his reputation, I could believe it. Time to put up or shut up. I need one more promotion to get to his rank, so I'm going to jump online and do some grinding. And by grinding I mean winning a single match. Problem solved. I am now warrior rank, same as Jin Mashima. So here I am, watching the archive streams, and I see this. Fuck. Well, that's disappointing. I'd like to think that I could beat the bot, but I guess we'll never know. Overall, I think this bot is really funny. I mean, I hope it comes back, so I can see all the memes and copy pastas in chat, if nothing else. The moral of the story here is that you can button mash, and maybe win a few matches with the right characters, presuming that you're fighting an inexperienced opponent. But you're not learning anything, so pay attention to your opponent, their habits, their weaknesses, or just fucking play Victor.
Okay.
And then the Lord said, "My son, first you will choose Eddy, and then you will press 3, nothing more, nothing less. 3 shall be your button, thou shalt not press 4 nor 2, nor 1. I don't care how salty I sound, as long as Eddy's 33333 exists I will never respect this game as competitive. There's no such thing as being good at a game with 333 in it. Tekken 8 is the exact same thing as Mario Party until Eddy's 333 is removed.